Hey guys, this is your local magic source, Theta, and today kicks off the first official day of Spoilers season. Now we've got a lot of cards to go over, so let's get this cracking off. I'll only be going over the rares and mythics that I believe will be relevant and standard. Soon, I'll put out a pre-release prep guide showing reviews for all the other cards in the set. First off, we have some cards that were spoiled a while ago, starting with Ashiok, Nightmare Muse. This thick 5 mana walker starts with 5 loyalty and has 3 abilities. Looks like we're finally got with static abilities on walkers, thankfully. Ashiok can uptick to make blockers, -3 to bounce something and discard it, and -7 to have fun with your opponent's things. I think this walker will definitely see play in control decks. Think about the Ixalan Veraska. She had very similar abilities but cost less. It's plain to see that Ashiok is still no joke. After that, we've got another walker, Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis. 4 mana for a 5 loyalty planeswalker is less thick because she doesn't have any uptick abilities. Luckily, her abilities do make those creatures big, and help you stabilize. Plus, her escape ability will keep her coming back. I'm not too keen on our friend here, but she will work best in a white weenie deck to give them some reach in the late game. Also, that spear is sick. Now we see that sagas are back, starting with the Crone War. This 4 mana saga has 3 chapters, which let you steal a creature, then makes your opponent attack, and then wipes your opponent's board. It's really hard to know what strategy this would go into. It works kind of like an angler turtle, and then active aggression and a solar blaze. Not really sure what to think of this. Maybe we'll get a better idea as more is released of the set. After that, we have Stessian Champion, who is our new Enchantress. Better than Eidolon of Blossoms, I'd say, due to the +1/+1 counters. This little lady is going to do some work for you, drawing you tons of cards. If green enchantments become a thing, this is going to be a real threat. We don't really have any good green enchantments right now, so hopefully we get some support later down the line. Now we've got gods, starting with Clothis, God of Destiny. This chick is replacing the spiteful Xenagos who did some crazy stuff back then. She's got a decent body for a god and basically acts like a Deathrite shaman, although her mana adding may not be too reliable without fetch lands in standard. Fabled Passage could help that. In a Gruul Stompy deck, she'd be at home, giving the deck extra reach, but there are so many playable 3-drops, like Gruul Spellbreaker, I'm not sure she'll be able to make it in. Next, we've got Allure of the Unknown. Dubious Challenge's even more dubious cousin. 5 mana, draw 5 sounds pretty good until you realize your opponents get your best card for free. Despite this, it's still pretty powerful card draw, and if you mitigate the downside by playing an aggro deck, this could offer some powerful reach in the late game. Drawing 5 is pretty good. Now, it's time to get some shots on with Gallia the Endless Dance. She's a partying powerhouse, and she's rummaging through the tables to find the best snacks. Hasty Tutu gets your other satyrs to party too. And if you've got enough of party singing in, she'll draw you some cards. I love the design of this card, and I really want to build a deck around her. But we'll have to see what comes out in the form of satyrs. In modern, maybe we could try something. Fire Drinker is kind of jank, but I mean, there's no success like excess. Now we've got another saga. We have Timuret Calls the Dead. 3 mana for 2/2/2s and scrying 2. Seems decent. Kind of like a more fair history Benalia. I'm not sure if you could play this with other zombies or just stand alone because either could work. Although I don't know of any zombie cards, and since Field the Dead is, dead, I don't know where it really fits in. Now we've got some nice confusion as Wizards releases cards in other languages. Here we have Nailia Dagli Ochi Aktui, aka 10 Lords of Leapin. She's got a little less punch than the last Nailia, but she acts like both sides of a Duskwatch recruiter simultaneously. Although her card draw ability is much worse, Biomancer's Familiar is still in standard, which is a pretty cool combo. Heavy green Stompy decks could use this, but they already have so many good 4-drops like Questing Beast, our Wolfie Boy, etc. I'm not sure if she'll be able to make it in those decks, but she could be brought in for the sideboard for slower matchups. And now we've got some Chinese gibberish, aka Thunderbolts and Lightning, very, very frightening. But anyways, 4 mana for 4 damage to all creatures and all walkers is pretty nice, except that they're all so dummy thick that it doesn't kill any of them. Even Tiny Teferi dodges this, SMH. I guess this could work in a red control deck, alongside Big Girl Chandra. Kind of grasping at straws here, because Fires has tons of walkers in it, and that would just be killing your own stuff. This will be great and limited, though, I'm sure of that. It looks like Pass and Flames had a baby in Underworld Breach. This enchantment is only around for 1 turn, but it lets you cast any number of cards from your graveyard using Escape. This card is very interesting. Usually Pass in Flames works in Storm decks as a finisher, but I'm not sure if this can fulfill that role. The escape cost is high with exiling 3 cards. Maybe this could be a finisher in Sacrifice themed decks? Again, these wacky red enchantments are indeed wacky. Now we've got Woe Strider. He's going to be our new Viserys here, on a big scary boy body that comes along with a goat friend, and comes back from the yard for more fun. This horror is going to definitely do some work in Jund sacrifice decks because the extra token and the fact that it can escape makes this a valuable sacrifice outlet. Now we've got all the temples, all rest of the 5 of them, and I cannot stress enough that these are going to be worth their weight in gold. If you haven't seen how much these were already played in Standard, then you will be living under a temple. I'd definitely try and pick these up, as they will be around for a while and will definitely be played the whole time. They're in Standard at least. And we get a look at this beautiful art for another god. This Erebos is very similar to the past one, letting you pay life to draw cards, but this one also likes creatures dying. You will draw so many cards of this, it's not even funny. And that sacrifice ability can ping creatures, or it can just make combat very awkward for the opponent. This will also see black play in black sacrifice decks. Well, that's kind of a theme if you didn't realize. Imagine playing Cauldron Cat with this. Oh, the value. And wizards, what have I told you about printing cards that pretend to be old cards? Nyx Lotus is basically a Gilded Lotus. That I say is better. It may come into play tapped, and if your board gets wiped, it does nothing. But if you know how powerful Nykthos is, then you know that this will be a powerhouse. I'm not sure if this shows up in Standard. Maybe in a deck that tries to ram it to one of the finales could use it. That could be great fun. But I want a copy of this for my most of my commander decks. Maybe not in the 3 or 4 color decks, but in monocolored, this is going to be a bomb. Oh, and what is it with wacky, seemingly unplayable red mythics? Ox of Agonas gives us a new take on Bedlam Reveler that can keep coming back, just without the prowess, or the big body. The cheap escape cost is very nice, allowing you to constantly refill your hand. I'm not sure where this goes though, it just seems too costly to go in an aggro deck, but discarding your hand in a control matchup is suicide. Perhaps it works as a top end of an aggro deck to offer more reach? I'm not really sure, because aggro gets stomped by the current metagame, so we'll have to see what happens with our new Oxy boyfriend. Now we've got more gods entering the fray. Oh my god, so many gods with Perforos. This big boy will definitely slap your opponent's butt cheeks, and he will make your other creatures excited to swing into. Also, his sneak attack ability is extremely cool. I definitely want to sneak an Agent of Treachery in with this. Oh, the value. Or a Cavalier? Then you get the Enter and Dies triggers. What deck does this go in, though? Probably a mono red big stuff deck. Just play him on turn 5. If your opponent isn't dead, then sneak in 2 friends and watch your opponent enter number 1 Sad Boy Hours. Now we've got Storm Herald. He is very interesting. It enters and takes all the ores from your graveyard, but then they go away at the end of your turn, and they're also exiled. This could be very interesting and cool in a deck focused on heroic synergies, using ores to trigger them as a finisher. It's fine on the vanilla test, plus it is haste, so it might see some play in limited, but in standard, if it does see play, it will definitely be a powerhouse, I can tell you that. And now we've got the best doggo other than Mao, Kronos' doggo. This doggo does it all, being a 3-mana 3/3 with Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink. That's a pretty good Bobby on itself. He also acts like a Grafdigger's Cage and Ashes of the Aberrant, not letting any graveyard shenanigans happen on his watch. Unless graveyard decks get pretty bad, this probably isn't main deckable. But just saying, it absolutely hoses Jund Graveyard. Just saying. And Field of Ruin is back. Just wanted to mention this because it's a good thing to have in the metagame and stops any Lancer being too powerful. Wish we had this for Field of the Dead. Now we've got another Kraken rolling in with Nadir Kraken. This guy acts like a Chasm Skulker and is definitely gonna go in my Zagana commander deck. Can't wait to make a board of 50 1/1s and obliterate my opponents. Standard? Maybe in control to help stabilize, or see creatures a thing, which I hope it is. It'd be great there. Other than that, it's kind of jank, but I love it. And when I saw this start, I just about died. Ephemia the Cacophony is a 2/1 flyer, which on end step lets you exile an enchantment card from your graveyard to make a 2/2 zombie. This is definitely interesting. In limited, this is a bomb, no doubt. But problem is you have to fill your graveyard up. But for standard, I'm not really sure. Again, maybe an early game control card to help stabilize and then allow for a win condition in the late game. If enchantments are good enough, maybe. Only problem is you need to stock your graveyard as well, which could be difficult. And we're going to end our video today with Treacherous Blessing, which is a pretty cool design. You draw 3 for 3, okay, busted. Then it deals a ton of damage to you later, okay, ouch. You can't bounce it back to your hand unless you're using, like, Disappearing Act, but oh no, you could just sacrifice it to Colvold to draw more cards. Why does sacrifice have to be so good? So, I hope I didn't pronounce anything too wrong. We all know that Theros brings out the worst in all of us in pronunciation, but that's going to wrap up our spoilers for today and yesterday. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, and I really hope you like my content. I'll be putting out more before you know it.